Human notices the alien girl's skin glow near him, and the alien girl says the glow responds to his blood. Hello everyone, before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It's quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now, let's return to our main character. Ethan Miller was a man of simple habits. He didn't like to rush through his days. A 32-year-old software engineer from a small town in Ohio, he had a routine that worked for him. He loved long walks in the woods behind his house, where he could escape the bustle of his everyday life. He wasn't one for grand adventures or seeking out anything beyond his quiet, ordinary world. On this particular evening, Ethan found himself wandering deeper into the forest than usual, his thoughts lost in the cool autumn air. He hadn't planned to go so far, but something about the crisp air and the rustling leaves drew him in. As he walked, the sound of his boots crunching the dry leaves beneath him was the only noise in the stillness of the evening. The forest was eerily quiet, as if holding its breath. That was when he saw it. At first, he thought it was just a trick of the light. A faint, soft glow flickering between the trees, barely noticeable at first, but growing brighter the closer he got. His curiosity piqued, Ethan took a few cautious steps forward, trying to make out what was causing the strange light. As he moved closer, the glow became more distinct, and that's when he saw her. Standing just a few feet away, as if she had materialized from thin air, was a girl. No, not a girl, a woman. But she wasn't like anyone he had ever seen before. Her skin shimmered, radiating a soft, ethereal light that seemed to pulse with a life of its own. It wasn't just the light that was strange, it was her presence. Ethan froze, his heart skipping a beat. She looked human, but something was undeniably different. She had long, flowing silver hair that caught the light in a way that seemed almost unnatural, and her eyes were a deep, luminous blue, glowing faintly in the dimming twilight. She didn't speak at first, just watching him with a curious intensity that made Ethan feel exposed, as if she could see right through him. He didn't know whether to be afraid or fascinated. Then, almost as if she had been waiting for him to speak, she broke the silence. "You can see it, can't you?" she asked, her voice soft but clear, echoing in the still air. Ethan nodded slowly, not quite sure what he was agreeing to. "My skin," she continued, "it responds to your blood." The words didn't make sense to him at first. He blinked, trying to process what she had just said. His blood? What was she talking about? But before he could ask, she stepped closer to him, and the glow around her skin seemed to brighten ever so slightly. Ethan felt a strange warmth, not from the air, but from the very presence of her, as if her glow was somehow in tune with his own pulse. He had no idea how to react. He had never believed in aliens or anything beyond the realm of human experience. Yet, here she was, standing before him, her skin glowing in a way that defied everything he knew about biology. He opened his mouth to say something, but no words came out. He was speechless, caught between disbelief and wonder. What was happening? I could feel my heartbeat in my chest, louder now than ever. This was insane. I couldn't wrap my head around it, but there she was, standing in front of me, her glow intensifying ever so slightly with every passing second. My mouth went dry, and I took a step back, instinctively trying to put some distance between myself and this glowing stranger. But she didn't seem to mind. In fact, she moved closer, her steps light and graceful, like she was floating just above the forest floor. Her skin shimmered with every movement, the soft light casting strange shadows on the trees around us. I opened my mouth, trying to speak, but my voice betrayed me. Nothing came out at first. Then, finally, I managed to croak out a question, my voice trembling. "What do you mean, it responds to my blood?" She stopped in her tracks, just a few feet from me, and looked at me with those glowing eyes of hers. There was no fear in her gaze, only an unspoken understanding, as if she knew exactly how I was feeling. "It's not something I can explain easily," she said, her voice calm and soothing. "But it's a bond, a connection between you and me. Something that links our life forces." I blinked, trying to process her words. "Life forces?" "Yes," she said. "My skin glows because of the energy in your blood. It's like a response, an echo of life. When I get closer to you, it intensifies." I swallowed, still unsure of what she meant, but something in her tone made me feel like I should trust her, like I was supposed to be a part of something bigger than myself. Are you an alien?" I asked, the question hanging in the air. She smiled faintly, but there was no malice in it, just a quiet understanding. "Yes. I'm from a planet far away. But I'm not here to harm you, Ethan." I froze. "How do you know my name?" She didn't answer immediately. Instead, she stepped even closer, her skin glowing brighter now, the light almost enveloping me. For a moment, I felt warmth flood through me, like the light was somehow seeping into my very bones. It was both comforting and strange at the same time. "Your blood, Ethan," she finally said, her voice a soft whisper. "It has a unique resonance. It's why I was drawn to you." I opened my mouth to say something, but the words caught in my throat. How could my blood be anything special? I was just a regular guy, living an ordinary life. Yet here she was, a being from another world, standing in front of me, claiming that my blood had some kind of power. My mind raced with questions. Why me? What did she mean by resonance? And most importantly, what did she want from me? But before I could voice any of these thoughts, Lyra took another step forward, her hand reaching out, palm open. "Trust me, Ethan," she said gently. "I'm not here to harm you. I need you to understand what's happening." I didn't know what to say. I wasn't sure if I was supposed to be terrified or curious or something else entirely. But there was something in her eyes, something that made me feel like I had no choice but to listen. So I nodded slowly, unsure of what was coming next, but strangely certain that I was about to step into a world that would change everything I knew. I could feel my breath catch in my throat as Lyra's hand hovered just inches from mine. It was warm, almost like standing next to a campfire, but gentler, softer, like the warmth of sunlight filtering through the trees. I wasn't sure what to make of it, but I knew something was happening, something far beyond anything I had ever imagined. Her eyes never left mine, as if searching for some sort of understanding, or maybe trust. I wasn't sure what to trust here. The world I knew, my quiet life in Ohio, my normal job, everything, felt like it was slipping away, replaced by something I could barely grasp. "What do you need me to understand?" I asked, my voice low, almost hesitant. She studied me for a moment, her expression unreadable, and then she slowly spoke, her voice soft but clear. "This connection, Ethan. It's more than just the glow. It's about our energies, the way your life force resonates with mine. The moment I saw you, I felt it, this bond that stretches across distances, through space. It's why I'm here." I felt a chill run down my spine at the mention of space. It sounded so distant, so abstract. I had never thought about the universe in such a personal way. "You're saying, you were drawn to me?" I asked, still struggling to piece everything together. She nodded, her silver hair shimmering as if it was part of the light itself. "Yes. Your blood carries a frequency, a resonance that my people have been looking for centuries. I'm not the first to search for it, but I'm the first to find it. And now, I need your help." The words hung in the air, thick with meaning. Help? How can I help? I'm just a guy. I'm not special. I don't know what you're talking about. I was starting to feel overwhelmed. The more she spoke, the more everything seemed to spiral out of control. She smiled, a soft, understanding smile, but there was a sadness in her eyes too. I know this is a lot to process, Ethan. But you are special. More than. You know. And I can't do this alone. What is it that you need from me? I asked, my voice barely a whisper, unsure if I even wanted to know the answer. She took another step forward, closing the gap between us until we were standing so close that I could feel the faint pulse of her light against my skin. There's a power deep within you, Ethan, she said, her voice a mixture of urgency and hope. I need you to trust me. To understand that what's happening between us is part of something much bigger. It's not just about the glow. It's about the balance of life across the universe, and you play a key part in it. I could barely make sense of her words, but the intensity of her gaze told me she wasn't lying. There was something important here, something I couldn't turn away from, even if I wanted to. And in that moment, I knew that my life, my quiet, simple life, was about to change forever. What do I have to do? I asked, my voice barely audible. Lyra took a deep breath, and then she spoke, her words carrying the weight of everything that was about to unfold. You must come with me, Ethan. There's no going back. But together, we can unlock the potential that lies within you. Together, we can change everything. I stood there, frozen, as Lyra's words sank in. She wanted me to go with her. To leave everything behind and step into a world that was beyond anything I had ever known. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. A part of me wanted to run, to escape, to go back to my life, to the quiet, predictable life I had always known. But another part of me, the part that had been drawn to her from the moment I saw her glowing skin, felt a strange pull, an undeniable connection that made it hard to say no. I can't just leave, Lyra, I finally said, my voice shaky. I have a life here. A job, a home, friends. I can't just disappear. Lyra's eyes softened, and she stepped closer, her hand still extended, as though offering me something I couldn't fully understand. I know this is hard, she said gently. But you don't have to leave everything behind. You can still have a life, but it will be different. You'll be part of something bigger, something that no one else on earth will ever understand. And you'll be able to unlock your true potential. The energy within you, Ethan. The resonance you carry, it's more than just blood. It's power, waiting to be awakened. I swallowed, trying to make sense of it all. The idea of power, of unlocking something deep inside me, seemed both terrifying and exciting at the same time. I had always felt ordinary. Nothing special about me. Just a guy who worked a desk job and lived in a small town. But what if she was right? What if there was something more inside me, something waiting to be awakened? What happens if I don't go with you? I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. What if I stay here? Lyra hesitated for a moment, and I could see the sadness in her eyes, as if she knew the answer but didn't want to say it. If you stay, Ethan, the connection will fade. The energy will fade. And you'll never truly understand what you could have been. But I'm not forcing you to come with me. The choice is yours. Her words were heavy, and I felt the weight of them pressing down on me. For a moment, all I could do was stand there, torn between two worlds. On one hand, I had everything I knew, my life, my job, the people I cared about. On the other hand, there was this mysterious woman who claimed I had something special inside me. I had no idea what that meant, but it felt like I was standing at a crossroads, a decision that would change my life forever. What if I say yes? I asked, the words leaving my mouth before I could stop them. Lyra's eyes lit up with a mixture of relief and hope, and she took a step closer, her hand now gently resting on my arm. If you say yes, Ethan, we'll begin the journey together. You'll learn what it means to truly be alive. You'll understand the power that flows through you, the connection between us. And together, we'll make a difference, something no one on earth could ever imagine. I looked into her eyes, feeling both fear and excitement swirling inside me. This was real. This wasn't some fantasy or dream. This was happening. And for the first time in my life, I felt like I was about to embark on something far bigger than anything I could ever have imagined. Okay, I said, my voice firm now, my decision made. I'll go with you. I could feel my heart racing in my chest as I made the decision. It was surreal, this choice I had just made. But it felt right. Even though every part of me was screaming for logic, for reason, there was something deep inside me, some instinct, that told me this was the path I was meant to take. Lyra's eyes softened as she smiled, her glowing skin illuminating the space around us. Thank you, Ethan, she said, her voice gentle yet filled with a quiet intensity. You don't know how much this means. I don't, I replied, trying to steady my breath. But I trust you. It wasn't that I fully understood everything. There were still so many questions running through my mind. What was I about to walk into? What would happen to my life if I left? But Lyra's presence, her calm energy, made it all feel like it would be okay. Maybe that was all I needed for now, trust. She nodded once, her face serious now, but still full of that strange, ethereal calm. We have to go now. Time is of the essence, Ethan. Without another word, she turned and began walking toward the edge of the clearing, the soft glow of her skin lighting up the path ahead. I hesitated for just a moment, but then I followed her, the weight of the decision beginning to settle over me like a cloak. The woods around us seemed to quiet even more as we walked, the only sound now the soft crunch of leaves beneath our feet. It was as if the very world was holding its breath, waiting for what was to come. We walked for what felt like an eternity, though in reality, it was only a few minutes. I had lost all sense of time. The air felt different now, crisper, heavier, as though the very atmosphere had changed. The glow from Lyra's skin seemed to intensify, casting strange shadows on the trees. We came to a stop at the edge of the forest, where the trees parted to reveal a small clearing. In the middle of it stood a tall, smooth structure that looked like nothing I had ever seen before. It wasn't made of metal or stone, it was more like something organic, almost alive. The surface shimmered and shifted, like water rippling in the moonlight. My breath caught in my throat as I stared at it, unsure of what I was looking at. What is that? I asked, my voice barely more than a whisper. Lyra turned to face me, her eyes locking with mine. That, Ethan, is where your journey begins. It's a portal, a doorway to a place far beyond anything you've ever imagined. A portal? The word felt surreal in my mouth. A portal to where? Yes, she said, her gaze never wavering. To a world beyond Earth. A world where the power inside you will awaken, where you'll understand your true purpose. Everything you've known will change. And this, she gestured to the structure, is how we'll get there. I swallowed hard, the reality of the situation beginning to hit me all at once. I wasn't just about to step into another country, or another city. I was about to step into another world. There was no going back from this. My life, everything I had known, would be left behind. And in that moment, I realized there was no other choice. I had already made my decision. With a deep breath, I stepped forward, my hand brushing against the cool surface of the portal. It felt alive, as if it were responding to my touch. Are you ready, Ethan? Lyra asked softly, her voice calm but laced with anticipation. I nodded, feeling the weight of her question settle deep within me. There was no turning back now. Yes, I said, my voice steady despite the storm of emotions inside me. I'm ready. I stepped closer to the portal, the air around me humming with energy. Lyra stood by my side, her presence almost as comforting as it was mysterious. Her glowing skin bathed the clearing in a soft, surreal light. I could feel the pulse of the portal, an almost tangible force that seemed to call to me. My heart raced, a mixture of excitement and fear flooding my senses. This is it, I said under my breath, more to myself than to Lyra. She nodded, her eyes locked on the shimmering surface of the portal. Yes, Ethan. Everything is about to change. You're ready. I wasn't sure if I was ready, but something deep inside me told me that there was no turning back. The universe felt so vast, and here I was, standing at the threshold of it all, ready to step into the unknown. How does it work? I asked, my voice shaky. Lyra smiled softly. The portal works through energy. Your blood, your resonance, is the key. It activates the gateway, and once you step through, you'll be transported to my world. The energy will be all around you, and you'll understand your purpose. I glanced back at the forest behind me, the familiar world I had always known. I could still hear the rustle of leaves in the wind, the chirping of distant birds. It all seemed so distant now, so irrelevant compared to what lay ahead. But it wasn't just my world that was at stake, it was something much bigger. Lyra's words echoed in my mind. You'll understand your true potential. I had no idea what she meant, but I was starting to believe her. This wasn't just some fantasy or dream. I was about to step into a whole new reality. I took a deep breath and turned back to the portal. The shimmering surface seemed to beckon me, drawing me in. My fingers hovered just above the cool surface, feeling the energy vibrate beneath my skin. I could almost hear it calling to me, like a whisper on the wind. Are you sure you're ready? Lyra asked again, her voice soft, almost reassuring. I nodded, my heart beating faster with each passing second. Yes. I'm ready, I said, the words more certain now. This is where I'm supposed to be. Without another moment's hesitation, I stepped forward, my hand touching the surface of the portal. A wave of warmth spread through my fingers as the energy from the portal surged through me. It was like a spark, a jolt of electricity that raced up my arm and into my chest. I gasped, feeling the rush of power course through me, overwhelming and exhilarating all at once. The air around me seemed to shift, the world around me beginning to fade into a blur. Lyra's glowing figure beside me grew more distant, her voice faint as if carried away by the wind. Remember, Ethan, she called softly. Everything you need is within you. Trust it. Trust yourself. And with that, the world dissolved around me, and I was no longer standing in the forest. I was somewhere else, somewhere completely new. The landscape around me was unlike anything I had ever seen. The air was thicker, charged with energy. The ground beneath my feet was a mix of soft moss and smooth, iridescent stone. Strange plants, brightly colored and glowing, spread out in every direction. The sky above me was a swirl of colors, not the typical blue, but a deep violet, fading into pink and gold as if it were painted by some otherworldly hand. I blinked, trying to take in my surroundings, but my mind could barely process it. It was beautiful, otherworldly, and yet it felt like home all at once. My heart pounded in my chest, the excitement of what was to come mixing with the awe of what I had just experienced. I wasn't sure what to expect, but one thing was clear, everything I had known was behind me now. And ahead of me lay a future that I could never have imagined in my wildest dreams. I stood still, taking in my surroundings. It was like stepping into a dream, a world so alien and yet so oddly familiar. The ground beneath me was soft and glowing, pulsating gently with light as if it were alive. The air had a strange, pleasant weight to it, thick with energy, almost as if every breath I took filled me with something more than just oxygen. I could hear the sounds of movement around me, but the landscape was eerily still. Plants with vibrant colors, brighter than anything I had ever seen on Earth, seemed to stretch toward the sky. They shimmered in the strange light of the alien sun, their leaves rippling as though they were alive, reacting to the very air. Above, the sky swirled with hues of deep violet and gold, not the blue I was used to, but something that felt more alive, more dynamic. The colors seemed to move, as if the sky itself were breathing. Lyra was beside me, her presence a steady reassurance in this overwhelming new world. Her glow seemed to blend with the landscape, as if she belonged here, a part of it. I looked at her, still trying to grasp the enormity of what was happening. Where are we? I asked, my voice still a little shaky. She smiled, her eyes reflecting the swirling colors above us. This is my world, Ethan. This is where everything begins for you. Her words were soft but carried an undeniable weight. I felt a sense of awe wash over me, mixed with an undercurrent of fear. This wasn't Earth. This wasn't home. But somehow, in a way I couldn't quite explain, it felt right. I looked around again, noticing more details. The plants weren't just glowing, they were moving, shifting, almost as if they were responding to some unseen force. The air smelled sweet, fresh, and strange, like nothing I had ever encountered. There was a beauty in it, but also something deeper, something I couldn't fully comprehend. Lyra stepped forward, guiding me through the alien landscape. As we walked, the ground beneath us shifted and changed, the soft, glowing surface becoming more solid, more defined, like the land was rearranging itself to accommodate our presence. It was as though the very ground was alive, attuned to us. This world is built on energy, Ethan, Lyra explained, her voice steady and calm. Everything here is connected, from the plants to the air, to the ground beneath our feet. The energy flows through everything, and it reacts to those who can tap into it. Energy? I echoed, trying to wrap my mind around it. How do I tap into it? She turned to face me, her eyes soft but filled with a knowledge far beyond anything I could understand. Your blood, Ethan. It carries a resonance, a frequency that is in tune with the energy of this world. That's why I was drawn to you. You have the ability to harness it, to use it. My head was spinning. All of this was so far beyond anything I had ever imagined. I was just a regular guy from Earth, a software engineer. But now, standing here in this strange world, I felt like I was part of something much bigger than myself. So, what do I do now? I asked, feeling a mix of uncertainty and curiosity. Lyra's gaze softened, and she stepped closer. Now, we begin your training. You'll learn to control the energy, to connect with it, to understand your purpose here. I swallowed hard, the weight of her words sinking in. This wasn't just about being in a new world. It was about unlocking something inside me, something that could change everything. I'm ready, I said, though I wasn't entirely sure what I was getting into. Lyra nodded, her smile returning. Good. We'll start small, but soon you'll begin to understand. Trust the energy, Ethan. It's already inside you. I followed Lyra through the strange, glowing landscape, my mind still racing to comprehend what was happening. The air felt heavier here, filled with a pulsing energy that seemed to vibrate in the very ground beneath my feet. Every step I took seemed to sync with the rhythm of the world around me. Lyra walked gracefully ahead, her glowing skin casting soft light on the ground. She moved as if she belonged here, as if this world was as familiar to her as the earth was to me. I watched her for a moment, trying to take in everything she had said. My blood had a resonance. I could control the energy of this world. I wasn't sure if I believed it all, but there was no denying that something deep inside me was beginning to stir, something I couldn't explain. How do I start? I asked, my voice tentative but eager. Lyra turned to face me, her expression calm but filled with an intensity that sent a shiver down my spine. The first step, Ethan, is to connect with the energy around you. Let it in, feel it in your veins. Your body already knows how to do this, it just needs to remember. I nodded, but the uncertainty still lingered. It sounded simple enough, but how could I connect with something so intangible, so powerful? Lyra stepped closer, her gaze unwavering. Close your eyes, she instructed. Breathe deeply, and focus on the air around you. Feel the energy flowing through the ground, through the plants, through the sky. It's everywhere. Just let it touch you. I hesitated, then did as she said. I closed my eyes, taking a deep breath of the sweet, thick air. At first, nothing happened. The sounds of the strange world around me were distant, and the only thing I could focus on was my own heartbeat, fast and nervous. But then, as I stood there, trying to clear my mind, something shifted. I felt a warmth, a gentle tingling at the tips of my fingers. It was faint at first, almost like static electricity, but it grew stronger with each breath I took. My pulse quickened, and I felt the energy, the resonance, begin to stir inside me. It was as if the world itself was reaching out to me, calling to me. I couldn't explain it, but I felt a deep connection, an understanding, as if my very blood were syncing with the pulse of the land. The warmth spread up my arms, into my chest, and then down through my legs, until it was everywhere. It felt like I was a part of this world, like the energy was not just around me, but inside me, coursing through every fiber of my being. I opened my eyes, breathing harder now. I felt different, more alive, more attuned to everything around me. The plants seemed to glow brighter, the air felt thicker, and even the ground beneath me seemed to hum with energy. I looked at Lyra, my voice filled with awe. I can feel it. I can actually feel it. She smiled, a proud and knowing expression on her face. Good. That's the first step, Ethan. You're beginning to understand. The energy inside me was still there, flowing like a current beneath my skin. It was strange but exhilarating, like waking up from a long, deep sleep. Lyra's voice broke through my thoughts, her tone soft but firm. Now, Ethan, you must learn to focus that energy. You have the power to shape it, to control it, but you must learn how to direct it. It won't happen all at once. It takes time and practice. I nodded, still feeling the energy flowing through me. The path ahead seemed uncertain, but something inside me had clicked. I didn't know exactly what I was capable of yet, but I was ready to learn. I was ready to understand. As Lyra led me deeper into this strange world, I realized that whatever was waiting for me here, whatever I was meant to do, would change everything. I wasn't just learning to control energy, I was about to unlock something far more profound, something that could reshape not just my life, but everything I had ever known. I stood still, focusing on the pulse of energy inside me. Lyra's words echoed in my mind, you have the power to shape it, to control it. I could feel it, the power that was flowing through me, stronger now than it had ever been. The connection I had felt when I first stepped into this world seemed to deepen with every breath I took. It wasn't just the air or the ground beneath me, it was everything. It was the life force of the planet itself. I looked around, trying to focus on what Lyra had said about shaping the energy. How do I focus it? I asked, my voice uncertain but eager. Lyra gave me a reassuring smile, her eyes glowing softly in the strange light of the world. Close your eyes again, she said, her voice calm and steady. Feel the energy around you, and this time, let it respond to you. Think of it as an extension of yourself, a part of you that you can guide. I nodded and closed my eyes. The world felt different now, more vibrant, more alive. I focused on the energy, trying to let it flow through me like a current. At first, it was hard to concentrate. My mind kept wandering back to how strange this all felt. I had no idea how to control something as vast and powerful as the energy of this world. But then, I remembered Lyra's words. Trust it. Trust yourself. I took a deep breath and cleared my mind. I focused on the energy again, feeling it pulse beneath my skin, in the air, in the ground. Slowly, I let it come to the surface, allowing it to rise through my veins, into my chest, my arms, my hands. It was like reaching out to something invisible, but I could feel it responding, almost like a living thing. My fingers tingled, and I stretched my hands out in front of me, unsure of what would happen. Lyra's voice broke through the silence, a soft whisper. Good. Now, try to guide it. Imagine a small spark at the tip of your fingers. Let it grow, slowly, gently. I concentrated, imagining that spark, a tiny point of light at the end of my fingertips. At first, nothing happened. But then, something shifted. There was a warmth, a feeling like the spark was slowly beginning to glow. It started small, just a faint flicker of light. But with each breath I took, the light grew, becoming brighter and more defined. I could feel it, like an extension of my own will. The energy was responding to me, and for the first time, I understood what Lyra had meant. It was mine. To shape. I opened my eyes, and a soft blue glow radiated from my hands. The light pulsed in time with my heartbeat, like it was a part of me. I could feel the power in my fingertips, in my very soul. You did it, Lyra said, her voice filled with quiet pride. You've connected with the energy. Now, you can start to control it. It's only the beginning, Ethan, but it's a good start. I looked down at my hands, still glowing faintly. It was incredible, almost surreal. I had never imagined something like this was possible, let alone that I could be the one to do it. But standing here, feeling the power inside me, I knew this was only the beginning. What comes next? I asked, eager to continue. Lyra stepped closer, her face serious but encouraging. Now, we begin to teach you how to use it. You'll learn to focus it, to move it, to shape it into whatever you need. It's not just about controlling energy, Ethan, it's about understanding the balance, the flow. Everything in this world is connected by the same force, and once you learn to master it, you'll understand how to use it to achieve anything. I nodded, feeling a surge of determination. This was only the beginning, and I could already feel how much more there was to discover. There was so much to learn, and I was ready to take the next step. Whatever this world had in store for me, I was ready to face it. I wasn't just a regular guy anymore. I had the power of this world within me, and I was going to learn how to control it. I was going to change everything.